Good morning. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. I'm Barry Bryson, and we are continuing our study of the suffering servant passage, which begins in Isaiah chapter 40. And as we've said, it looks forward to the Messiah and the Messianic age, but it also deals with current events. And they have just survived the Assyrian invasion, which is reported historically in Isaiah in chapters 37, 38, 39. And we read about God himself in a single night taking out an empire in that passage. We also read about it in Kings and Chronicles as well. But anyway, he has been, after he gives comfort to the people and looks forward to the coming of his servant and announces the coming of his special envoy, his suffering servant, which she hasn't really described as suffering yet. He establishes himself as God. I am God. I'm the only God. I'm the one true God. And he has been demonstrating his omnipotence, that he is a maker and breaker of nation states. He's encouraged his people to trust in him because they can't defend themselves. He has asserted, when we were together last time, that I'm the one who will bring restoration because I'm your creator. And now, in verse 17, he is calling these false gods, these idols, to account, which is kind of humorous because they don't exist, which is the point. But anyway, we'll begin with verse 21, chapter 41. We'll read through verse 24 today. Present your case, Yahweh says. Bring forth your strong arguments, the king of Jacob says. Let them bring forth and declare to us what is going to take place. As for the former events, declare what they were, that we may consider them and know their outcome. Or announce to us what is coming. Declare the things that are going to come afterward, that we may know that you are gods, little g. Indeed, do good or evil, that we may anxiously look about us and fear together. Behold, you are of no account, and your work amounts to nothing. He who chooses you is an abomination. God is speaking to the false gods who are non-existent, the gods of our own creation. And this is sarcasm. This is sarcasm that drips more sarcasm. God is saying to Baal. God is saying to Chemosh. God is saying to Marduk. God is saying to all these false gods, okay, gather together and show me what you've got. Tell me what's going to happen. Tell me what already has happened, and do something, anything, do something good or evil, so that we can all gather together and be afraid of you. Chapter 40 began with God announcing that He is the only true God, and the people who make these idols trembling. The metal workers that are working at the anvil, soldering, nailing, trying to encourage each other and buck up each other's courage in the face of the one true God. And so he's hearkening back to that. And he's talking to these false gods. And he's saying, okay, show me what you've got. And what they have is nothing because they are nothing. They don't exist. You are nothing. Your works amount to nothing. You're nothing. Absolutely nothing. You don't exist. And so in speaking to them, it's almost like, several years earlier, Elijah on Mount Carmel, facing down the prophets of Baal there in the northern kingdom, having them call to their God. And why don't you scream a little louder? Maybe he's asleep. Maybe he took a trip. And just laughing at them, demonstrating how ridiculous their faith in Baal, who does not exist, is, and completely and thoroughly, utterly destroyed those prophets of Baal. God, in a very similar way, is saying, okay, gather together. Tell me what's going to happen. Tell me what's already happened, so that I can figure out what's happening now and what will come in the future. If you know, why don't you tell me those things? And I just love the fact that he says, do anything. do good, do evil, just do something so that we can see, himself and all humanity, we're the ones, he's sitting with us, in the theater waiting for something to happen, uh, so that we can see and be afraid of you. But they don't do anything because they aren't anything. You are of no account. Your work amounts to nothing. And then the last phrase, he who chooses you is an abomination. God has laid out his case. I'm God. Nobody else is God. There's no other God. There's only me. And if you think you can do better with another God, you're an abomination. Um, it, it's almost like saying, if you can see the evidence and still think there's another God, you have no reason to be, really. Okay. We'll pick up with verse 25 next time. More expression of God's bigness, his onlyness, his omnipotence, and his omniscience. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word.